Standing up too high with nowhere to fall down to. Empathy around you. Standing looking back, you heard it all before. Now losing what you didn't know you had. Fearing what you want is nearing, but you're really trying to get away from it. Basic instincts overpowering. You still have this open. When this could be good enough for us. This could be good enough for us. When this could be good enough for us. 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 Fearing what you want is nearing, but you're really trying to get away from it. Basic instincts overpowering. You still have this open. When this could be good enough for us. Standing up too high with nowhere to fall down to. Empathy around you. Standing looking back, you heard it all before. Now losing what you didn't know you had. Fearing what you want is nearing, but you're really trying to get away from it. Basic instincts overpowering. You still have this open. This could be good enough for us. This could be good enough for us. When this could be good enough for us.
STN Racing proudly presents the HIP Motorsports Summer Racing Championship. It's race number 5 on the season, and we welcome you to Mount Panorama. It's Bathurst, here in Australia. We get to tackle an almost 4-mile road course, the biggest course that we'll tackle until we head to Le Mans at the end of the year. Glad to have you along for the ride, everybody. Jacob Hitz, Joey Tabin with you for the call. Zach Johnson, our producer, for tonight as always. And after what we saw last week at, where were we? Road Atlanta last week, I think. We've kind of upped the bar a little bit here because this place is not easy. Okay, good talk. Anyway, let's move right along then. And we'll try and get Joey resuscitated and and get him back and ready for us, as right now qualifying is going on as we speak, and well, this track is so big that nobody has set a lap yet. They're still working on making it there. In fact, nobody has taken the green flag yet to start their lap. They're all on their warm-up lap, trying to make it all the way around. It's Kai Dial that is leading the charge. He is off, I believe. He's coming down the long straightaway. The Conrad straight, headed towards the chase. It turns 21 and 22. Here they come down the hill and into 21 and 22. 23 turns here at this racetrack. They go all the way up the hill, and then they come flying back down. They come under the bridge and head towards Murray's Corner, and this is where we will see these guys start their first lap here on qualifying. 15 minutes in total of qualifying. The lap time's a little over 2 minutes in length, so these guys are going to be running
grass, walls that are right against the track, tire walls, concrete walls, Armco walls. There's just a lot of walls, and if you hit them, you're not going to be having a good time. And I think that might be the reason why there's been such a pace difference, especially in practice. The pole, or the fastest car in practice, and the slowest car in practice separated by 12 seconds. So there's a difference between a driver who really knows this place, isn't afraid of the walls, knows exactly the line you're supposed to run, and a driver who's a little bit more tentative, a little bit more fearful, and maybe just trying to stay out of trouble.
We're certainly going to have to keep our eyes on that speed differential, because we saw how big of a factor it played a week ago at Road Atlanta. There's not a lot of room to get out of the way here, as here comes Dial leading the charge down through the S's. As they come downhill through all these S turns, they'll make it all the way down to Forest Elbow before they make it now here onto the Conrad Straight.
Red Ford is certainly interesting to see, but he's making it work. No sponsors on that vehicle. It's just pure red. Ferrari would be happy, or would they? I don't think so. Down to the final chicane here. Doesn't go for the jump. Maybe we'll see that at the end of the race, a celebratory jump. But just one more corner to go for Dial. It's looking like a pretty solid lap. He was about second or third in practice, I think, fourth in practice. About a second and a half off the pace, but as he exits the last corner, it gets a little wiggly, and it's a 2:04.6, almost exactly the same as what he run in practice.
Fastest lap so far, as right now we're waiting. Everybody else is Dial just spun it here coming out of turn one, coming out of Hell Corner, so everybody else will just move right on by. Not sure if that was just a way for him to get the heck out of the way or not. We'll have to wait and see. Daniel Morad, the lone pro driver in the field, he is still sitting on pit road, so we got to wait for him. And Gavin Sanders, remember, he was speedy last week. He is back again, and he set a 2-minute 3.863 lap time atop the board by 0.8 of a second over Dial's lap. Sanders is flying around here in that Ford GTE.
But he's still 0.8 off of his practice lap, so, you know, he's practically walking around this place. That's so slow, Gavin. Speed it up, man. Something tells me he'll be telling himself that same thing. He might be on pole, but he knows there's 8 more tenths in the tank. And with 9 minutes left in qualifying, he's going to give it everything he's got to bring that down, because Eric Dallariva, he ran a 2:03.7, so a 2:03.8, while it is on pole at the moment, it's definitely beatable. So he's going to probably go for another run or two. I think that's our current third place runner, Dial, a little bit further back, but on screen right now is the little yellow Corvette. I think that's Paul Nito going up the hill.
Well, how about Sanders? He actually is on a flyer, and he is running pace-wise pretty darn fast. As he comes down, he's going to come down the hill all the way down the Conrad Straight and head towards that chicane known as the Chase here. I've seen a lot of bad wrecks in that part of the racetrack. And he is doing pretty well right now. His pace, it keeps going up. It touched 0.8 there for a moment, 0.8 quicker. Now it's back down to 7th. He's been hovering there as he brings it through the last couple of corners on the track.
He'll probably be looking at that green bar on his display. He's probably got time over the field right now, but you can very easily lose it all in the last corner. We saw Dial get loose on the throttle here. No, great exit from Sanders. Maybe a little bit on the grass, but who cares? 0.6 faster.
Yeah.
2:03.2. Great lap from Sanders, and he's back to being 0.8 over the field.
And nobody else is anywhere close to beating that out. Dallariva right now, he's on a lap. He's 0.3 off from his fastest lap. Everybody else just kind of hovering around their lap time. And let's compare this. Gavin Sanders, a 2:03.2. Stefan Uriadka in 15th, a 2:15.099. So a 2:15.1. Check that, a 2:14.8 now for Uriadka. 11.5 seconds off the pace.
Well, he's gaining experience with every lap. You know, a lot of these drivers, they may have never touched Bathurst before, and it's honestly probably the most difficult track you can try and learn for the first time. It's half road course, half street circuit, half death chamber. So good on Stefan for still figuring it out. And if he can stay out of trouble in the race, he'll probably get quite a few positions out of it, because I think this place does bite frequently, and staying alive is very, very important. Goes up the hill a little bit wide. Behind him is, who is that behind him? That's Gary Wood in the Porsche, currently 13th right now. Not the fastest lap from Gary, but he's still improving. He did a 2:08.3 in practice, a little bit off now, and he's stuck behind Uriadka. It's a little bit of a train. It's going to be a 5-car train before we know it. I don't think any of these drivers are going to be improving, and I don't think any of them are going to be especially happy about this little Australian traffic jam we got going here.
Just a note, Daniel Morad, you know, he is the only pro driver here again, so he's going to win the pro class no matter what happens. He has not come out onto the racetrack to set a lap here in qualifying, and we are closing in on just 5 minutes left. You need probably 6 minutes or more just to get a single lap until you get the car up to speed, make it all the way around. That's before you even get the green flag. It takes about 3 minutes, then plus a 2-minute and some change lap time on a flyer. So we're wondering here, I'm not sure Morad's going to get a time in. Meanwhile, let's check in on Kai Dial. He's in 3rd place. He's out on the racetrack right now. We actually get to show him on the sim.
I just
on
don't
the
understand.
exit of the last corner, they're going to be 3 wide. It's not a race finish. This is very strange in qualifying to be racing this hard, but everybody just meeting together on that first corner. I think Kai got a 1X, so he doesn't improve on that lap, but he's going to have clear track in front of him now, and only a couple more minutes left in qualifying. He doesn't have that long to get rid of that 1.4 second gap to the lead, but he's giving it everything he's got, and I do see a car up ahead of him. I don't know who that is. It is Sam Heward, and Sam just kills the car up the hill. He'll hopefully stay out of the way. Hey, he does stay out of the way. Good for him.
So Dial made contact with Stefan Uriadka. Remember, he had contact a couple times last week. Again, really off the pace here. He was the one that made contact with Dial, and it was the 3rd car in that 3 wide. That was Paul Nito in the 104 in his Corvette to really help the excitement for Dial. Not like it mattered too much, though, for him. He was about 0.6 off his fastest lap. Right now, he's running 0.8 off his flyer. So no real improvement out of Dial yet as he comes down through the S's, down the hill and heads towards the Conrad Straight.
Still no sign of Daniel Morad on track. I think, honestly, if he hasn't forgotten that qualifying is happening, maybe he's trying to go for a little bit of a last to first challenge. Maybe challenge himself here. He wasn't the fastest in practice, but we know he has plenty of pace. So maybe he just thought, stick myself in the back of the field. I'm the only pro. I'm going to win the race in my class either way. Make it exciting by coming up from 21st. So we'll have to see if that's actually the case in a couple minutes. If he does ever get out on track, there's only 3.5 minutes left, so he's not going to get to... Well, actually, yes, he will, because it's an open qualifying session. As long as you cross the line to start a lap with time left, you get to finish your lap. but he's only got like a minute left if he's actually going to do that. So we'll see what happens there. But we're still riding with a couple drivers through the last corner here. One of our only BMWs in the field. We got about 3 or 4 of them. Eric Dallariva, second place at the moment. I don't think he improved on that lap. His best lap at 2:04.014, and his last lap a hyphen,
Yeah,
which
it
means
doesn't
he got
exist.
it off track.
Yeah, he got it off track. Right now he's trending a tenth faster. He's got a little bit of a draft trying to get around Val Di Pietro. He's going to make that happen as Dallariva continues to fly up the straightaway. Gonna have to watch here as he comes through. He may have a shot to close in the gap on Gavin Sanders. Not sure he's going to be able to make up a half second or more, but he's going to be able to close in the gap a little bit on the 10 of Sanders, as Sanders is also out of the flyer, and he's trending towards about a tenth quicker.
2.5 minutes. Oh, Dallariva was so close to the outside wall there. I don't know if he lost time there with a little bit of a lift, but I thought he was going straight into the wall. Down the hill we go. You see the absolutely immense amounts of commitment he has here. He knows this track. He knows where he's going, and he's throwing absolutely everything at this. It certainly looks fast. I don't know how he's trending right now, but
well, he just lost. He lost 2 tenths there in that corner, but he gained 1 back on exit. I don't know where he just gave up a corner on his first lap because he is half a second faster. The only problem is Gavin Sanders, he's 3 tenths faster right now, averaging as he's coming around the racetrack.
Maybe a little bit of track evolution. It's not always the case on these road course qualifying sessions that the track really evolves at all, but maybe that's what's happening here. We're going to ride on board with him through the chase and then down the hill to the last corner. We know he's tracking well. We know he's been super fast. What's it going to be?
A little wide on exit, keeps it out of the grass, lost a tenth off the corner. He's going to crack the 203s. He's still half a second off of Gavin Sanders. Sanders is flattened out, and actually he's lost a little bit of time now. He's coming down the straightaway, headed towards the chicane, headed towards the chase. But Eric Dallariva threw, I think, all he had into that lap, and he could only muster about 3 tenths between his previous fastest lap and that lap. How about Stephen Nagovin in 6th? He's almost 2 seconds off, but he's trending 2 seconds quicker. He's coming down towards the final corner. Let's see where he winds up. We've got half a minute left in qualifying at the line. Nagovin jumps up a couple of spots. He moves from 6th to 4th, passing Dial and Fantozzi, so move Nagovin in the BMW to P4.
Great stuff from Nagovin, definitely improving from practice, taking down on almost 9 tenths from his fastest lap in practice. Looking at the rest of the field, John Martin coming through the last corner now. He's in 7th. This is the checkered flag. Checkered flag is out, so these laps will count. Martin, 206.3, does not improve. He'll either stay 7th or drop a little bit further down. We'll see if anybody improves behind him.
So Federico Fernandez in the 19 in the BMW. He will be the last one to complete a lap. Everybody else behind him didn't make it to the line in time to start a new lap. Everybody in front of him, this is their last attempt. Gavin Sanders is on a flyer, and he's cooking. Down through the S's, trending 7 tenths quicker. Eric Dallariva also on a flyer. He's just up the road, I thought. Dallariva, yeah, he's coming into the last corner, so here comes Dallariva to set his last time. 3 tenths faster, loses a tenth on exit. He's actually gonna lose time, slower. A 2:03.8, so he does not improve. We'll have to go back now to Gavin Sanders. He's coming down the straightaway, headed towards the chase. He's 6 tenths quicker right now. His pace is. We'll see how that transitions across the line as he comes through turn 20.
And Sam Hewart, Thomas Langiel, Timothy Salvatore, they all improved. So this track, I think it might be getting better, or the drivers are just throwing everything they've got at it. But here comes Sanders. Through the last corner, he's on pole. He doesn't need to improve, but will he just for the heck of it?
Yes, a 2:02.8
Wow.
at the line. So he leapfrogs, pulls another 4/10 out of the rear end of him, and he's going to wind up 9/10 faster than second place and an even 12 seconds faster than Stefan Uriadka in 20th. Wow.
No surprise to see Gavin Sanders on pole, and I guess no surprise to see him pulling as far away as he has been. We saw him last week just absolutely almost miles away from the rest of the field, and switching from the IR01 to the GTE cars, he has still got it. But we'll see if he can hang on in the race. A lot of misfortune last week gave Eric Dallariva the overall win and the A-Class win, even if he had a little bit less pace maybe. So it's not over until it's over, and we got a bunch of laps and a bunch of minutes of racing to do before we can crown Gavin Sanders any sort of winner.
Yeah, Sanders lost it in the first lap of the race. Last week at Road Atlanta, had a lot of mistakes and couldn't quite make it happen.
I don't know why Timothy Salvatore is going for another lap, because his last lap, he's not going for another lap. He's coming into the pits. I thought he was just going to take another, and you don't want to do that in the race. Do not want to do that in the race. So get that out of the way. But this is a real lap, I believe. This is the last car on track, but he's not going to make it in time. There's only 1 second left.
Yep.
And it's over.
So qualifying's done, and we'll re-rack. So let's run through the field. It's Gavin Sanders on pole once again. Eric Dallariva in second, Chris Jackson third, Stephen Nagovin in fourth, Kai Dial fifth, Bruno Fantozzi in sixth. John Martin leads the amateur B class. He starts from seventh. You've got Luke Ticciaroni in eighth, Thomas Langile in ninth, and Sam Heward rounding out the top 10.
Val DiPietro in 11th place is alongside Scott McGuire, then Timothy Salvatore, and Paul Nito, I believe, is the last of your A-Class drivers, and then a bunch of B drivers, Michael Puchik, Federico Fernandez, who we didn't see last week, Leo Mora, Keaton Pipe, Gary Wood, and Stefan Uriadka round out the top 20. Now, I believe we'll see another row. I'm trying to look on track. Is Daniel Morad on the grid? We know old Fred Flintstone isn't on the grid, but I don't see Daniel Morad. I don't think he's going to be here.
Yeah, being told that he's having connection issues, so that means we're going to have no pro drivers in the field. So I don't know if anybody's going to get credited with the win in the pro class.
Can I get credited with the win in the pro class?
Well, if you're not a pro driver, I think you're out of luck for that. But right now, we're waiting on a couple more to get on the racetrack, specifically Eric Dallariva, second place, Scott McGuire, Timothy Salvatore as well. And as I'm calling them out, they're starting to get on the racetrack, just waiting on McGuire and Salvatore. We've got
Morad's on track. I see him.
What the heck? I don't see him. 70. Morad. Yeah, he's on the racetrack. So my scoring just doesn't acknowledge him. Okay. Daniel Morad's here. So he wins.
My hopes of winning have been taken away in one fell swoop, but he is on the grid. We'll see as they roll off here. Is that car actually in operation? Is his internet working? Are the connection issues resolved?
I mean, he's just got to start the thing, and he's moving.
Hey, there he is.
All right. So we're going to come through turn 20 here. We're going to get the green flag to get this thing underway. And 45 minutes. No cautions. Unlimited pit stops. Or unlimited fast repairs, rather. So if you screw up, you can fix it. But it's still going to cost you, and you're probably not going to have a shot. Gavin Sanders, Eric Dallariva, we're in the land down under. Green flag, we're racing from Mount Panorama. Already got one going wide, a big stack up in the back of the field. Stefan Uriadka, Keaton Pipe, stacking it up way in the back. We're locking it up, heading into the first corner. Gavin Sanders leads, and we got a crash. Trouble already in the first corner on exit. Stefan Nagovin is around.
Bad
He's
luck
gonna
for
collect
Nagovin.
Ticciaroni as well. So a crash in the opening corner saw him locking up, getting in there, and it looks like Nagovin, who set that fast lap, he got turned by Kai Dial coming out of that first corner. Here they come up the hill through the first couple of corners now. Nagovin toes. It's Dalla Riva and Chris Jackson battling for the second spot behind Sanders.
Dalla Riva got to the outside of Sanders going up the hill, but he just could not hold it on the outside line, and now he has Chris Jackson.
Trouble for Morad. Morad just disconnected from the race. What happened to him? Did he just really start and park it? Oh, he got wrecked. A huge accident. Daniel Morad taken out coming up the hill. Around goes the 12. That's Langile. He was running in 9th. Caution flag is out. Chaos. They're still piling in with Langile back here. A lot of damage to Gary Wood. Fantozzi has towed. What happened to Tozy? As the field continues to race it back, they're down. Sanders is down in turn 21 in that last chicane right now. Looks like everybody in the top 5 is going to be able to limp it back around to catch the pace car, but half the field or maybe more have damage, and we haven't even completed a lap.
Yeah, if you viewers at home are a little bit confused about what on earth happened, you're not the only one. It seems like throughout the entire field, we got Gary Wood, Leo Mora, Keaton Pipe hitting the wall under caution, Morad, I think Fernandez might have been involved, but geez, lots of stuff going on there, and a full course yellow on a road course, which we don't see all that often, but we'll try and get you as many replays as we can. Here's Daniel Morad. He was just running the back of the field. He got a good restart here.
Here's the first crash with Nagovin. He's going to get hit by Kai Dial, who just locks it up, goes wide, and then hits the back of the 99 and turns him around. It's a blocker in the outside line. Then they're able to make it a little further up the road. They're going to make it up to about, I think, turn 5 before things really start to get bad. Morad just kind of hanging on for dear life in the back, trying to take it easy, knowing that they're probably going to wreck again before this thing's said and done. I think that's Fantozzi losing it there in the Corvette. He goes down, and then here's some more contact, and Morad just trying to make it through, and then this is where he's going to get turned, or does he turn himself into the wall? Need another angle of that, and it just blocks everybody. Gary Wood gets run into from behind, and it's just a track blocker here. That's when the caution flag comes out. Not sure. Oh, no. Morad just hooked it straight into the wall. Watch. Unless he gets loose in the middle of the straightaway.
Yeah,
he just turns dead right.
Yeah, he kamikazed himself, and Leo Mora, an unfortunate bystander. Gary Wood as well. Lots of cars with damage from that. That is unfortunate, but just an absolutely chaotic first lap. Nagovin, terrible luck for him after that great qualifying. He's at the back of the field now after that tow, but luckily for him, this caution, I think it'll help him out. I'm not sure if he's been lapped yet.
Yes,
but
he
also,
has.
I'm not sure how long this tow's going to take, because it's a very long track. It might be like 3.5 minutes before he actually gets back in the pits.
Still in the box. It's 3 minutes 45 seconds right now. Not sure started service on that race car. Bruno Fantozzi parked the car, and Daniel Morad, you know, for a guy that was complaining about how people were racing last week, if that was intentional, not sure if it was or not. It's tough to tell there, but that was a straightaway, and then that thing just goes hard right into the wall. I don't know, but yeah, not a great look.
We've lost Bruno Fantozzi. He's had enough after a couple corners. He doesn't want to be here for the restart, but this restart's going to be interesting. I think we might be going this time. The field looks pretty packed up. Maybe next time, I'm not sure. The lights are not out on the pace car, it doesn't look like. But either way, Gavin Sanders and Dalla Riva, it's going to be part 2 of their battle. We saw Dalla Riva able to get a good start, a good exit through turn 1. Maybe this time he'll learn some lessons from lap 1. Maybe be a little bit more aggressive around the outside, or maybe try and sneak it to the inside on turn 2. Either way, I think it's going to be an exciting restart for Dalla Riva, because it's hard to pass here, and if you're going to make your move, you're going to need to make it early. And he's got a hungry Chris Jackson behind him too, so if there's a time to move, it's now.
Sounds like it was indeed hardware issues for Morad, which would explain the the dead right turn. But right now, caution flag is out clearly under the full course caution. Pits are open. People faking for pits with 39 minutes left in the race. We will get the green flag next time by with a single file restart. Let's check in with Motorsports. Show where they're at on the racetrack right now. You've got Keaton Pipe, who's in 18th. The first one there. One further back is Kai Dial. He sits in the fifth spot. He had that contact in the lockup on the first lap. But he's doing the best he can right now in P5. Might have a little damage on the right front of the race car, but other than that, that red Ford GT is looking pretty good out there on the racetrack. Pipe sporting the BMW M8. Here tonight, we're in the GTEs tonight in the next race, which will come next week at, where the heck is the schedule at?
Suzuka.
Suzuka. We go to Suzuka next week. Those will be the GT3, so the Lamborghinis. We get to see them out on the racetrack, as well as the BMW M4, I think it is, off the top of my head. Don't quite remember. But the GTEs next week, and then in 2 weeks, when we go to Le Mans, we get all three. We get the GTE, the GT3, and the HPD brought out the safety car. Daniel Morad with hardware issues parked the car. Bruno Fantozzi parked the car, so they are out of the race. We've got 19 drivers left. So Daniel Morad does not complete a lap, but he still wins the Pro Series for this race. Now it's a battle for the A Amateur Series and the B Amateur Series, and we've got some competition there. John Martin leading the B class, Gavin Sanders leading overall, leading the A class, but Sanders has some tough competition with Dalla Riva and Jackson on his heels, plus Kai Dial has shown that he has speed here.
Couple drivers at the back of the field took their first of the infinite fast repairs. Keaton Pipe, I think, Langeal. Gary Wood did, and then he hit the wall under caution, so he towed back. I don't know if that was another hardware failure or he just kind of gave up. But Stefan Negovan, he's on the lead lap right now. I don't know if he got a wave around or if he just didn't get lapped, but either way, he is on the lead lap and he's going full speed to catch the pack before we restart here. You see the gap on the bottom of your screen. It's coming down very quick. He's got 42 seconds to make up, but he's pushing.
Tell you what happened to Gary. I think he just lost it trying to catch the back of the field. Went a little wide the corner going too fast and caught the wall and just kind of gave up from there. I think that's what happened to him. Negovan coming through the S's. Meanwhile, everybody else is on the long straightaway down the hill headed towards the chase. Again, single file restart here. Not doubled up like we get in NASCAR or anything, or like the opening start. We will be single file here. So it's Sanders in the Ford GT, Dalla Riva in the BMW, Jackson in the Ferrari, Martin in the Corvette, and then Dial in the Ford. So 4 manufacturers in the top 4, 4 in the top 5 here.
Negovan's about halfway through the back straight. I think he might reach them just barely by the time we get to the last corner. No, he's there. He's at the back of the pack, so good for him. He's still in it, but he's at the back of the field. He's got a lot of ground to make up, but we know he has pace. So see how he does on the restart here, but the real show is going to be up front.
Here we go. Field coming around through turn 23. Pace safety cars in. Green flags in the air. Gavin Sanders back on the gas. He's got a decent gap over Eric Dalla Riva. A strong restart for the leader. He didn't have anybody to wait on in front of him. As the field comes down through the first corner, looks like everybody's going to survive. It's all Gavin Sanders. He's got a 3-car length lead as they head off to turn 2. Luke Ciccarone is on pit road. Have to investigate that. He looks like he's just driving through pit road. Don't know if there's a penalty there or what's going on as they come up through the rest of these corners. Pretty much coming up the hill before they get to the peak and have to come back down the hill through the S's. As they keep rounding the racetrack. Gavin Sanders still out in front, looking back through the rest of the field. Everybody playing pretty nicely. First battle on the racetrack right now for P7. It's Timothy Salvatore and Sam Heward, 7th and 8th, both in the Porsches.
And these guys running similar liveries, so I think they might just be teammates here. But Salvatore and Heward, 13th and 10th in qualifying. Salvatore making a couple big moves here from 13th to 7th. So good for him, but he is holding up a little bit of a train here. He's got Heward behind him. Behind him is Paul Nito. A little bit further back is Fernandez, and ahead of them is Val Di Pietro, another driver who's made up quite a few positions. But we'll see the effect of the draft here. They're GTE cars, so they do definitely know how to draft. Salvatore up front, Heward behind. He is closing, but Salvatore's parking it in the middle of the track, basically. Heward's not going to be close enough to get side by side just yet into the chase.
Doing the best they can right now, these two. Both of them in that amateur A class as they come around and now head toward turn 23. John Martin, the only amateur B driver in the top 10. Everybody else in that battle, 11th on back with Federico Fernandez in the second spot. He's 6 seconds or more back on them as Yuryatka just fell through the field. Yuryatka is slowed down a ton here. Let's see if we can figure out what in the world happened to him further back. Looks like he just got passed by everybody. And Langaio pretty slow back here as well. Looks like he got a little wide and lost a corner, but he's doing it right now back on the pavement. As the field continues to make their way, we are closing in on just 30 minutes remaining, and that battle for 7th still pretty strong back here. And how about Nagovin? He was back in 11th on the restart. He's made his way up to 8th, or made his way up to 9th. He's coming in a hurry. Salvatore loses it for a moment, gets it back, but that's going to close in Heward.
This is going to be a little bit of a sandwich situation for Heward. He's got a fast car coming from behind, and he's got a little bit of a slower car up ahead. Nagovin had a very interesting restart. I thought he was going to restart at the back of the field, but he made a couple passes just in time as we came to the restart. Restarted about 11th, made up a couple positions already. Going down the hill, you see he just has so much more pace than the two guys, and he's
Nagovin got the wall.
Not going to have much pace going down the hill now. That's going to slow you down.
A lot of damage on the left front of that race car for Nagovin. Not going to help the aero on that thing. So that's an issue for him. Keaton Pipe has gone around, it sounds like. Coming down through the S's. Oh, yeah, he got turned around big time. Got run over by Luke Cicerone. Coming down, yeah, he hit him. Just barely, but yeah. Oh, got him, and Cicerone was barely on the racetrack, too, when that contact happened. So, contact there. Cicerone with more damage on the race car. Keaton Pipe further behind, but doing all right for now. Field comes back through turn number 1, and Salvatore and Heward still fighting for the 7th spot. Great battle.
Bad news for Nagovin.
Again! That's at pit entry.
Yeah, he tried to come in and just...
Oh, he was trying to come in. Came in way too fast. Locked up the tires and spun it out through the gravel. Stephen Nagovin, it's going from bad to worst. For the 99 BMW, he's going to pit, lose all that track position that he gained under the caution after getting turned on the first corner of the first lap. Heartbreaking for the 99.
I don't know if that'll be an unsafe pit entry penalty, but it might be. Just add insult to injury to Nagovin. Sitting in the pit box, gets his fast repair, I would assume, and out he comes. So I guess no unsafe penalty, or unsafe entry penalty. One of his fellow BMWs coming in behind him as well. I think that was Pipe.
Yeah, I think he would be okay, just because I think that cone for that penalty, I think that is well inside towards pit road, not all the way out by turn 23. So he should be okay in that regard, as Heward has gotten by Salvatore for that 7th spot and is now set sail. He's cracked that gap open to almost a second and a half. So he is really flying right now. He was running 4/10 faster as the round goes Salvatore. He loses it coming out of the last turn in the S's. Paul Nito's going to get by in the Corvette. And Federico Fernandez, who's cracked the top 10, he's got a full head of steam coming down the Conrad Straight.
Drivers definitely pushing as hard as they can. That's why we're seeing a lot of mistakes. Nagovin with a couple wall taps. Salvatore with a spin. Huard's kind of all on his own now. That battle's broken up. We'll see if Salvatore can make up that ground back on Paul Nito here. And he's got Federico Fernandez behind him, who's got a whole head of steam in that bright baby blue BMW. But through the last corner, just not quite a good enough exit. He's not going to be close enough through turn 1. He's going to have to try and set something up going into turn 2. But Salvatore's also going to get a draft from Nito here, as Fernandez just absolutely jumps over the inside curb at turn 1. It's the Corvette versus the Porsche versus the BMW.
That's Langile around. That's, I'm not sure where that's at, actually. Either turn 23 or turn 1. As, okay, that was that coming out of the final corner, turn 23. He's got the thing rolling now down the front straightaway. As looking through the rest of the field, not a ton going on right now for the most part. Gavin Sanders is still very, very fast. He's fallen off 3/10 from his fastest lap of the race. He's last lap of 2:03.7, his fastest at 2:03.4. But he has pulled out almost a 4-second gap on Eric Dallariva. He's got lap traffic ahead there in Gary Wood. But for the most part, Gavin Sanders is in a class of his own. It's A1 and then A2, I guess, further back behind him because he is long gone.
And he's reaching lap traffic at probably the best place you possibly could on the straight. We'll see if Gary is kind and lets him by into the chase here. If he battles him a little bit more. He's not letting him by just yet. He's not a lap down. He doesn't have to. But Sanders might be getting a little bit frustrated if he can't get by. In the last corner, he blocks him completely. Sanders not going to be happy about that one. He does get by eventually, but that move wouldn't have made him very happy. Wood had the right to the line, but I don't think Sanders is going to be particularly happy with that one. And now Dallariva and Jackson are going to have to deal with Gary Wood, and they're having a battle of their own.
Yeah, Jackson's kind of reeled it in a little bit. Not a ton, though. He's still half a second back. Oh, trouble! Turn 23! It's one of the Corvettes! That's Nito! Nito lost it getting into the last corner. Looks like he wheel hopped it. Gonna lose at least one spot to Salvatore. Lost another to Fernandez. He's gonna come out in front of Maguire, but Maguire right on his heels in turn 1.
And now it's a 4-car battle. It was a 3-car battle, but Paul Nito bringing another car into it. Scott Maguire on the back of him. It's a Porsche sandwich with a BMW and a Corvette in the middle. None of them close enough to think about going for a move yet. Fernandez definitely has quite a bit of speed in that car. He's not running faster than his qualifying pace, but the tires have gone off, so I'd argue that maybe he actually is in the grand scheme of things. And there he goes.
Around. He's going to hit Fernandez. He's going to hit all 3 of them. Maguire, Nito, and Fernandez. He gets hit again. Pusick piles in. Here comes Tusseroni. He's coming up the hill. Is he going to hit him? He goes wide, locks it up, and he will barely make contact. He'll go the long way. Here comes Langile. He's coming up the hill. Guess who's there? It's Salvatore. He falls to 14th. He's just going to keep falling back. Nagovin coming up through. He's going to hit him square in the door if he's not careful. Nagovin gets by. Next up is Yuryatka. He's way back there. Not sure he'll be a factor. Salvatore finally gets it going straight. He sat there for an eternity. In fact, he's just going to tow it back to pit road. Not worth driving the car back around. Salvatore just got in too hot, and it's going to cost him a ton of time. Nito with damage. Maguire with damage. Fernandez might be okay, but man, they just kept piling on in. It's when you get sideways here, you're a track blocker at that part of the racetrack. The walls are so close to the racing surface.
Yeah, and Pucic got the biggest chunk out of the car taken from that one. He just hit him square on the nose. We can see the front of this car. There's probably quite a few dents on there, but luckily, magical iRacing pit crews will buff all of those out So he'll come in from the 11th position now. He'll still have some hopes of the top 10 here if he can keep it rolling. Will he come into the pits?
No, he'll stay out.
'Cause he doesn't think it's bad enough.
He's already made one stop, presumably under that caution flag. But he'll stay out for the time being. But Salvatore stuck on pit road, and he's going to sit for a while because of where he had to tow at. Wasn't really close to home. But we'll keep on riding around. Here from Bathurst, Gavin Sanders is your race leader. How about this? A 5.5 second lead. Man, he is just gone. I mean, it's just like last week at Road Atlanta, except he's kept the car under him. He hasn't completely lost it. He's able to keep it under him. And so far, so good. We've got just under 23 minutes left here from Bathurst. Gavin Sanders leading the way in Amateur A. It's John Martin, P4 overall. He leads Amateur B. We're going to go side by side. You won't miss a thing here on STN. We're back after this. And we welcome you back here to STN Racing's coverage of the HIP Motorsports Summer Racing Championship. It's race 5 from Bathurst. Jacob Hitz, Joey Tempman with you for the call. Just over 20 minutes remain in this race. Gavin Sanders has led the entire distance, and right now everybody is pretty much spaced out, trying to navigate some lap traffic further on through the field with Federico Fernandez, Paul Nido, Scott McGuire. You've got Salvatore there as well. He just came off pit road after that crash. There you see that's Kai Dial trying to get by Gary Wood, I believe, and Val DiPietro has closed that gap into half a second for the 6th spot. Make it P5.
Yeah, we got a 3-way fight here. I think Dial's probably the fastest of these 3, so he'll probably pull away. But we got the red, yellow, and green car, but there's going to be no stopping this battle because down the inside goes DiPietro. Quite the Pruitt fade over the nose of Gary Wood. But he survives, he doesn't get punted, and now he's got to get on the chase on Kai Dial, even though this isn't the chase, this is turn 1. But he's got a long straight and maybe a lot of drafting to do here. He's not going to be in draft range here at 1.2 seconds back. But the BMW, we know that thing's got a bit of straight line speed. So we'll see if we can catch him at all in the straights or through any of the corners up the hill.
Let's go on board with Kai Dial in the 5th spot. You've got to wonder here when these guys will have to start thinking about some pit stops here. Since most of these guys, the top 9, have not made a stop. The only exception outside the top 9 is Stefan Yuriadka in 15th.
Looking at Yuriadka's lap sheet, he is improving with every lap. So with the amount of experience he's getting, he's brought a couple tenths of a second down, or actually a couple full seconds down.
He's just abusing the race car right now, but he is just gone. He's on lap number 12 right now with a almost 7-second lead over Dalla-Riva. John Martin, of course, still leading the amateur B class in the 4th spot. He almost won last week at Road Atlanta. Got involved in something very late, like within the final 5 minutes late, handing the win over to Austin Riley. Riley not here tonight, so he can't go back-to-back. So John Martin taking advantage. He's got a 24-second lead over Federico Fernandez. So, Martin just hanging in for the time being as your leader, just trying to bring it home this time.
Battle between Paul Nito and Scott McGuire's heating up for P9. They're the closest battle on track right now, about 2 tenths between them. And they got another car behind him. That's not Tucciaroni, that's a lapped car. I think that's Leo Mora. No, that's Salvatore. We know Salvatore has pace, so does he want to try and get his lap back? I don't think he will, but I don't think he's especially happy to hang back and not fight either. So we'll see that dynamic here.
Well, Salvatore came out in between Nito and McGuire, so McGuire got by him at some point. So Salvatore, I think, just trying to hang around right now, showing he still has the speed, but not really being able to do much in terms of position. He's stuck back in 18th. He's 16.5 seconds back on the next car for position, Gary Wood. And that's kind of fallen off right now. Not really gaining, actually losing a little bit of time to him. Wood, the first car, 1 lap down, then it's Salvatore, and then Pipe, who's 18.5 seconds back on Salvatore. Everybody else out of the race in Fantozzi and Morad. Everybody else still on the lead lap. How about that?
McGuire can't find a way by because Nito just parked it in the middle of the track and he understeers oval style in the dirty air. Doesn't matter because he gets to the inside. Woo! That was certainly a way to make the move, but he made it work. And now Nito, he's got Salvatore behind him, but Salvatore lets off. He is being nice here. He's letting them battle it out, and if they eventually hit each other, he'll get by.
And Heward is coming into pit road. I was wondering why everybody was leapfrogging there. The 18 of Sam Heward has made his way to pit road for his first stop of the day, and I think this might start a trend on the leaders coming in and getting tires to make it the rest of the way. And also fuel, as we've got, how about Gavin Sanders getting through the lap traffic of Mora? He just passed Yuriatka. He gets by Mora now, coming through the S's and down the Conrad straightaway.
He's going to be having war flashbacks every time he reaches a lapped car after last week, but gets through them cleanly. Next one is Michael Puchik, and he's a couple corners up the road, so we won't have to worry about that for a few laps. We'll see if he actually comes into the pits this lap. Dalla-Riva's brought the gap down a couple seconds, it looks like. It was, I think, like 8.5 seconds. Now it's only 6.4. So I guess just getting held up by Yuriadka and Mora there just brought that gap down, and he elects to stay out. He wants that gap to be a little bit bigger, I think, before he comes in. See if Dalla-Riva and Jackson come in. Doesn't look like they're... Oh, yes, they are. Dalla-Riva's in. Dalla-Riva is in the pit lane. Chris Jackson behind him does not follow. He's going to keep it on track.
Yuriatka, again, running 11 seconds slower than the leader. That might be why Sanders lost a little bit of time. But Eric Dalla-Riva is on pit road. And we'll see how this plays out. He's going to lose another spot here to John Martin as he comes around the corner. Kai Dial is next as well. So Dalla-Riva, the only one in the top 5 to come on to pit road. He'll get his service, and he'll probably come out in the 6th spot behind Val Di Pietro and ahead of Federico Fernandez, who is 2nd place in the amateur B class. There you see Fernandez coming around through turn 23. And Chris Jackson must have had a moment or something, because the gap is back up to 9.5 seconds on Gavin Sanders, although he was back. He was further behind Dalla Riva anyway, so I'm wrong, and it doesn't matter either way. But Chris Jackson losing a considerable amount of time to the leader right now. He's almost 2 seconds slower.
And now Jackson, oh, he reached Uriadka at a really bad time. Got held up there. That's going to bring the gap down even further, or bring the gap up even further, I guess, if I'm going to use my math phrases correctly. Next up is Leo Mora. We'll see if he elects to come in this time. Doesn't want to get held up for much longer. He might get a little bit of a draft here on the straight, if anything, which is good. But still a 11-second gap up to Sanders. So any little bit of draft he's going to get here is going to be kind of meaningless in the long term. We'll see if either of them elect to come to pit road this time. Sanders navigating through the second to last corner. Here he comes. Here comes the race leader.
Gavin Sanders on to pit road. Does not crash it coming in, which is always a very important step to winning the race. Chris Jackson stays out. So the Ferrari is going to take the lead as he tries to get around Leo Mora here. Coming down the straightaway, Mora puts a little bit of a block on him. But Jackson will get him at the line and clear him into turn one. Chris Jackson takes the lead in the amateur A class and overall. John Martin is in, your B class leader. Kai Dial stays out, as does DiPietro. DiPietro almost hit the wall in the front straightaway. Might lose a spot. He does to Eric Dalla Riva. A heart attack moment, Code Brown moment for the driver of the green BMW, but he's able to hang on to the race car. Gavin Sanders is out of pit road already. In second place, just 13.5 seconds back on Chris Jackson, so it won't be long. In fact, Sanders might leapfrog, have more of a gap over the current race leader, Chris Jackson, right now.
Now, my only question is, can Chris Jackson maybe pull a miracle here? Could he make it 10 more minutes on those tires or with the fuel? I don't think he can. If every single other driver is pitted, I think there's approximately a negative 15% chance that Chris Jackson's going to make it to the end here. But, you know, he's got nothing to lose. He might as well extend this for as long as possible. Maybe Sanders will run into trouble. Dalla Riva's been a little bit slowed down by some of that traffic, so maybe an overcut could work out here. He's got nobody anywhere near him on track right now. Meanwhile, Gavin Sanders, who's he behind? It's Stefan Uriadka down the hill. He's just absolutely parking the bus in front of Sanders. That's going to be a couple extra seconds for Jackson. So maybe this overcut will work out. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Sanders he lost a tenth to Chris Jackson. Didn't lose much there. And even if Jackson didn't have to pit, Sanders would still get there on pace alone. He's at least 2 seconds faster a lap than Jackson. The gap's 14 seconds. Do the math. Well, Gavin Sanders will be there in no time for the most part. At least no time it'll feel like, as Gavin Sanders will come around to start his first lap, his first full lap on the new tires. And we'll see how quickly. No traffic in front of him. No traffic between Jackson. As I say that, Leo Mora is there. But Mora, I think Sanders will catch him in a pretty decent spot. As Kai Dial is coming onto pit road. Same with Val DiPietro. In fact, DiPietro got by him because Kai Dial binned it and almost got into the tires, or did he? Did not hit the tires, but he almost. He could have. He probably should have, but he was able to get it stopped. Still going to lose a lot of time. Salvatore has parked the car. He crashed it again, towed it, and then parked it, so he's done for the night. As Nugovan gets by a couple of folks. He's now P7. There you see him in the battle just up the street with Tucciarone, Maguire. That is for position. 5th and 6th, Maguire and Tucciarone headed to turn 2.
Tucciarone wasn't, well, he was on pace in qualifying. In practice, he had a little bit of a struggle, but I don't think he actually got much practice in. Either way, he's definitely on the pace now, and he's all over the back of Maguire. It's going to be hard to make a move here, but he is on the back of him, and as we go down the hill, we'll see if he can use a little bit of an advantage. Up the hill, he's using a little bit less track than Maguire. It looks like Maguire may be pushing a little bit harder, pulling the gap out by a couple tenths here. Now Tucciaroni gets really close to the wall. Barely touches the curb on exit. And now down the hill. Can he keep it from locking up? Yes, he can. But he's not closing that gap down very much. It's staying almost exactly where it was, about 9 tenths. Now to the last corner before the Conrad straight. It was 9.5 tenths, and he locks it up. It's going to be a terrible exit down the straight. It's going to be up over a second gap between these two now. He's going to have to try and re-rack everything. Maybe launch another attack in a few moments. But I tell you what, up front, 7 minutes to go. That's only like 3.5 laps or so. Chris Jackson hasn't pitted yet.
And he is long gone. He's doing another lap. So if he's going to come in, it's probably going to be in the next lap or so. I would imagine he may just run the thing dry and then really be in trouble. Here's the battle back here for 8th. Val DiPietro, Kai Dial. These guys just came off of pit road. Got the tires now up to temperature. DiPietro got by Dial because of his accident trying to get onto pit road as Luke Tucciaroni comes in, as does, well, that's Langdale that's also in. He's a lap down. But DiPietro and Dial fighting for the 7th spot now. And I think that's pretty much where they're going to come out when Jackson pits. If Jackson pits, Jackson will cycle out in front of him here.
That's Uriadka in the red Ferrari ahead of Pietro, I believe. So hopefully that's not too much of a roadblock. Oh, it is. Can squeezing through the inside. I thought Dial might be able to use him as a little bit of a pick. Not quite. But he is all over the back of the green BMW. Great exit.
DiPietro got a little slippy there on the exit. Dial trying to go the hard way around the outside as they continue to come up the hill. This is fun stuff as they head down now to the S's.
The only question is, where can you get by? We know he has extra pace here to the tune of about 1.5 seconds. But where can you pass? Nowhere while you're here. He's going to have to wait until the long back straight to maybe just make a move in the draft, unless there's a mistake from DiPietro. None down the hill yet. Dial giving it everything he's got. I think he might have taken a little bit of a bite out of the wall, but no harm, no foul. He's still
Jackson
going
on
at
pit
it.
road. Race leader Chris Jackson has thrown in the towel. Gavin Sanders has taken the lead.
Yeah.
So that's it.
There's really no way he was going to make it to the end, but I was rooting for him to pull something out of the bag. He's going to exit in second. He has jumped Dallariva, so good for him. That's going to be a battle for second. But the battle for 7th still raging on. The Ford GT versus the BMW M8. Maybe a difference in straight line speed, because you'd think that BMW, the big Bimmer, given a big draft to the Ford GT, but he wasn't really able to close the gap there. So we'll see through turn 2. How does the gap change? Great exit from DiPietro. We thought he was hanging on for dear life at the top of the hill, but he's holding on to this position pretty well.
Scott Maguire is in, so DiPietro and Dial now fighting for the 6th spot instead of 7th and 8th. Four minutes to go, so basically 2 more laps for Gavin Sanders. He's got an 11.5 second lead over Chris Jackson, and Jackson might be able to hang on to this 2nd spot because Dallariva has lost time to Chris Jackson. Remember, Dallariva's tire is about 4 laps older.
And there's no lap traffic anywhere to be seen that's going to interact with these top 3, so they're just going to be fighting it out on their own for the rest of the day. Be all down to pure pace if Dallariva can close the gap. But Jackson has been about the same pace for the entire race. And in qualifying, about 6 or 7 tenths between them. But either way, pretty equal. And Dallariva's going to have to give it everything he's got to bring the gap down. It's only going to be 2 laps, I think. Because as we cross the line, Next time, there will be about a minute to go, and then we should get the white flag that lap.
Have to wait and see what happens. Jackson's already gone around. He'll do another, and we'll see what happens when he gets there. DiPietro and Dial are still putting on a heck of a show, and actually, Stephen Nagovin's probably going to have to pit here because he pitted early, way early. It's been 12 laps. I think he's going to have to come in and make a stop before this thing's done. He's P5 right now. We'll have to wait and see as he's coming through this chicane right now.
Well, Jackson went 17 laps on fuel, so I think he might be fine just to crawl it to the end. He might be a little bit on struggle street with the tires, and maybe have to save a little bit of fuel as he locks it up into the corner. That thing is definitely...
Well, and DiPietro's coming. DiPietro and Dial, they are coming. If they're going to catch Nagovin here, we may have a three-way battle for fifth before this thing is said and done. I think that's more likely to happen than Dalla Riva is to get to Jackson right now. Dial went a little wide there off of one, so DiPietro going to extend the gap a little bit for now, but he has got his sight set on the back of the 99 BMW of Nagovin. Here's the onboard with Dial.
Just hyper-focused. Even with that seat shaking around everywhere, that is realism at its finest from HIP Motorsports. And he's locked in battle here. DiPietro getting the rear out a little bit, not quite tagging the wall. But whatever problems he was having a couple laps ago, he seems to have resolved them because he has that thing pointed in a straight line, and he is holding a pretty decent gap to Dial. But as I say that, Dial puts together a fantastic sequence of corners, and he's all over the back of DiPietro here. But again, not going to be able to go for a move here. If you go for a move down the hill, you're maybe a little bit, I won't say stupid, but it's a low percentage move. But he's trying to set it up again. DiPietro pretty darn good down the hill, it seems, and that's going to be frustrating for Dial because he makes it all up the hill, and then he loses it all again.
Chris Jackson isn't the problem. Chris Jackson has fallen way back. He's been passed for second by Dalla Riva, and he's 3 seconds back on him. Chris Jackson must have been the car here. Hold on, white flag's in the air, and he did. He binned it getting down into the chase. Chris Jackson lost the car into braking. It wheel hopped. He went off into the grass. He's going to lose second. That's a car in the wall. That's the 24 of Scott McGuire. He's 10th. That's coming down the hill in the S's.
And he's fighting for the podium in the B class, so he's got to keep it rolling if he wants to hang on to that podium.
Here comes Puchik.
Hey, he's about 10 seconds back. I don't think I'll have to worry about that. Maybe some damage, though, on McGuire's car.
Nito just spun it. Nito just spun it right up the road in front of him. Nito gets it rolling again. Now McGuire is rolling, but Puchik still closing in. We're on the last lap, just to remind you that this is it. Everybody taking the white flag here. As the race leader, where in the world is he at? He is all the way. He is already coming down the hill. Gavin Sanders is ready to put this thing to bed. He is on the Conrad straightaway for the final time. So everything going on right now, this is the last chance that these guys will have, like DiPietro and Dial. Not sure we're going to be able to get a battle out of them, but we'll check in once Sanders crosses the line. Here he comes down into the chase. Gavin Sanders was probably the fastest car last week at Road Atlanta. Crashed it on the first lap and could never recover. Today, a dominating performance from the driver of the 10 Ford GT. He's going to win the A-Class. He's going to win overall. Gavin Sanders through turn 23. Gavin Sanders wins down under in Bathurst.
Absolutely.
Eric Dalla Riva coming around. He's going to finish in the second spot overall and in the A amateur class. He makes it. Here comes Chris Jackson. John Martin is coming down the straightaway to win the B class. He's coming down into the chase right now. He's got a huge lead over Federico Fernandez, who is way back there. DiPietro and Diallo, though, are fighting. DiPietro and Dial, they were battling. Here they come now. Thought it was close for a moment. It's still 0.6 of a second. So John Martin wins the B class. Here they come. Nagovin in 5th. He's going to come around through turn 23. DiPietro will hang on in 6th. Dial in 7th. And really no other battles going on the racetrack. So Gavin Sanders with the win overall and in the A class, and John Martin wins in the B class, with Daniel Morad making it about 600 feet and winning the Pro class tonight.
It's a couple more drivers just trying to bring it home here. Not much going on, just bringing the cars home, get that checkered flag officially. But it doesn't look like much else is going to happen here. But dominant stuff from Gavin Sanders. 15 seconds in the end over the field. And then 3 seconds from Dallariva to Jackson. So,
well, we're going to go to break here as Gavin Sanders going to go do the jump.
yes.
Oh, and he hits the wall for good measure. Into the tires. What a celebration from Gavin Sanders. He's happy that he just won here at Mount Panorama. We're going to step aside and go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk to the winners, do the results, and send you on your way. Here from Bathurst. We're back after this. Welcome back to the HIP Motorsports Summer Racing Championship here on STN Racing. There you have it. Gavin Sanders winning the A amateur class. Second, Eric Dallariva, Chris Jackson third. John Martin winning the B class. He finishes fourth in his Chevy. Stephen Nagovin in fifth. Val DiPietro sixth. Cardial seventh. Luke Tucciaroni in eighth. Ninth, Federico Fernandez. And in 10th, Paul Nito.
Then Sam Heward brought it home in 11th. Michael Puchik brings it home on the podium in the B class. We didn't know if he'd be able to hold off McGuire, but indeed he did. And speak of the devil, down in 13th, that is Scott McGuire. Would have been on the podium, but lost it on the last lap, followed by Leo Mora, Thomas Langeal. The used car lot here, guys who went lap down, wrecked their stuff. Gary Wood, Keaton Pipe, Stefan Uriadka, Timothy Salvatore, Bruno Fantozzi, and Daniel Morad out on the first lap. And that's about it.
All right, let's talk to some folks. How about race winner, Gavin Sanders? Let's drag him on in here. Gavin, certainly a redemption race for you after the heartbreak at Road Atlanta last week, where you went in having a really fast race car, losing it on the first lap. You could never get back up to where you wanted to be at. A dominating performance here at Bathurst, leading almost every single lap except for that pit stop there, where you needed to have the pit stop and take us through your night out in front of the chaos. It certainly helped you on the first lap.
Yeah, getting the pole definitely helps at this track. You can kind of stay away from in the second sector there of just the total calamity that ensues. But yeah, no, it was good. I felt confident. I used to drive this car a lot when it was still in the official series, and even after it's disappeared, it's still a gem. So yeah, it was really good to kind of get reunited and drive around this awesome track tonight.
And you certainly put on a clinic. You were faster than everybody by almost a second at the start of the run, and it only expanded as time went on. Are we going to see the same dominance when we move to the GT3s at Suzuka next week?
I mean, I hope so. It's I don't normally drive the GT3s as much, but Suzuka is a fun track. So let's hope, I guess. Let's hope for sure.
So a winner here tonight in the Amateur A class, and of course we'll see you next week from Suzuka. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck to you moving forward here on the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
Gavin Sanders, your race winner here from Bathurst tonight. Second place with Joey Tebben, it's Eric Dallariva.
Eric Dallariva, first last week,
He's
second.
not here yet. Hold on. Let's get him in. There we go.
There he is. Right on time. Eric Dallariva, first last week, second this week. It's a podium streak. I'd say you're on a bit of a hot streak right now. It was a tough race out there, but we're hearing that you scored 0x for the entirety of this race, and I think that might just be a miracle. How did you pull that off?
I'm not sure. Bathurst isn't one of my favorite tracks, to be honest, but we ran the 12-hour iRacing Bathurst event a few months ago, and so I kind of have a lot of laps here now and just tried to keep it clean and focus on my own race, and I think it obviously in the end paid off for me.
Looks like that certainly succeeded in terms of strategy. And speaking of strategy, it seemed pretty straightforward today, a one stop. Did you really think about that beforehand, or did you just think, I'll come in about halfway and that'll do it?
I was thinking maybe we would have to do 2 stops, but then the caution came out, and of course you sit there and kind of wonder if it makes sense to pit then to only make it on one more stop. But just because the pace laps here are so long, it became pretty apparent pretty quickly that we were only going to have to make one more stop. And to be honest, I had the wrong pit strategy. I noticed we were catching some lapped cars, and so I pitted a few laps before I had to. Kind of hoping to stay clear of those lapped cars, and fully suspected to come out in front of Chris, and then didn't. So I don't know if he just really picked up the pace there towards the end of the first stint or what, but he had the right strategy. Unfortunately, just sort of half spun and wasn't able to hold on to the position.
Well, congrats on your second run. Another podium and an overall podium. Even though it is the second class, you have anyone you want to thank before we kick you out of here?
Oh, just thanks to HIP Motorsports for putting this on, and all the sponsors, and you guys for doing the broadcast. We're having a lot of fun, and only a couple weeks left, so looking forward to kind of trying to finish it strong.
Yep, and good luck in that endeavor. That was your second place finisher, Eric Dallariva. And we've got one more for you. It's the winner in the B class. It's John Martin. Eventually.
We'll bring him on in here. There we go. John Martin, 4th place overall tonight, but you get the win in the B class. You had the win pretty much under lock and key last week at Road Atlanta before in the last couple of minutes had some issues, handed the win over to Austin Riley. Put on a great show tonight, really fast compared to the rest of the B drivers. Take us through your night.
Yeah, it was a good race. Got a bit lucky with traffic and was able to drive my own race for a while, but I had fun out there. No way I could keep up with those guys throwing down qualifying pace lap after lap. Geez, they were quick, but it was good. I grew up a couple of hours from Bathurst actually, so I felt a little pressure to represent while I was there. So I'm happy with the result.
Now we go to Suzuka next week in the GT3 cars. I'm curious how you think you're going to fare there. Similar racetrack to where there's not a lot of room for error, but certainly those GT3 cars are not the same as the GTEs that we ran tonight.
No, but I love that combination. I suspect I just won't have the same advantage over the field, at least in my class, in terms of pace, but I'm feeling good. I think I'll be in there with a shot. I really like that track. It's very fun to drive.
Well, congratulations on the win in the B class, and of course we'll see you next week at Suzuka, same time, not the same place, but you get the idea. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, mate. Thanks to the sponsors.
John Martin, your winner in the B class here tonight. from Bathurst. So, coming up next on STN, tomorrow night we are back, and actually, it's a long flight. We're going from the land down under to the place where they're holding the Olympics right now. Not exactly, but close enough. Same country. We're going to Suzuka for the HIP Motorsports 150, the fart racing series. Yeah, ha ha ha. Their endurance event with the LMP2s from Suzuka. It's I think like a 2.5-hour race tomorrow that we'll be here with you for. I think it's an 8 o'clock, 8:30 start, something like that. You'll see when we're live. Then on Friday, it's the FTF Saturday Night Shootout Super Speedway League, except it's on Friday at the Monza Oval with the Xfinity car. Should be a fun time. Then we're back with HIP. The HIP Motorsports Summer Racing Championship next week, next Tuesday night at Suzuka with the GT3s, as I mentioned. Same start time, 8:30 Eastern. We'll be here with you for that. Final thoughts here, Joe, before we wrap things up.
Well, I'd just like to say that I went this whole broadcast without breaking out my Australian accent, so you should all thank me for that. It's good stuff today, and we'll see you next week at Suzuka.
We'll pack up the Vegemite and send that off to Japan for tomorrow's race. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching here on STN from Bathurst. For Zach Johnson, our producer, and Joey Tam alongside me, I'm Jacob Pitts. Thanks for being with us. It's a long night here from Bathurst, only 45 minutes. Quick little race. Fun night nonetheless. We're back tomorrow with the 2.5-hour HIP Motorsports 150 from Suzuka. Until then, good night.